Alright guys, so in some of my future videos I'm gonna have these on just because it makes me feel like I know what I'm talking about and because I'm sort of just blind. But let's jump straight in and talk about version 11.3, which is going to be released later this week. Alright, so after really long delays of version 11 going out to the public, we've finally gotten to see some of the iterations up until 11.3.1, and it seems like finally we got confirmation from Elon that 11.3.2 is going wide release by the end of this week. So just to give you guys a backstory to all this, originally we were expecting version 11 to go out to the public by Thanksgiving. That didn't happen, and then 11.1 came out, but it was only for employees, and even then not every employee got it. There were a couple circulating videos online showing us what 11 was like, and it was amazing. Everybody was blown away by what it was able to do and what it looked like. And eventually 11.2 came out, but it was only for employees again, so we waited and waited until we finally got 11.3.1. 11.3.1 was the update that the limited beta release was out for a certain amount of people to test out the software. It took about 1 to 2 weeks after that point until we're here at this point right now, and we got confirmation that the wide release is happening. So all of that waiting was really for safety and parity with what Navigate on Autopilot was able to do. Navigate on Autopilot, even though in beta, was a really fantastic piece of software, and it was able to get you from the start of the highway to the end of the highway. And if you were lucky enough to have FSD beta, it would go from one stack to the next stack seamlessly, so you don't even have to really think about it. But because of how safe and stable Navigate on Autopilot was, they wanted to make sure that the single stack or the highway stack version was at least going to be on par with what it was previously. I think 11.3.1 hit that point, and they're finally releasing it to the public just a few days from now. We got a tweet from Elon saying that V11 is going to be going out by this weekend. Now I'm not sure how that's going to play out because you guys know Elon and his 2 weeks and his promises for the weekend really just always extends further, but I feel confident this time. I think it's going to come out by Friday. Alright, so I think you guys are more interested and probably clicked this video because you saw that I mentioned Autopilot was going to get an improvement as well as the FSD beta stack. I think this is going to be the update that is going to be a very critical one for Autopilot as well as FSD beta. Autopilot hasn't been touched for a very long time. The code is getting a little bit stale. We've had incremental updates here and there for the European community and the Asia community. In North America, it really hasn't been much. There hasn't been any progress whatsoever. And I think Tesla has really been focusing all their manpower on the FSD single stack. Now, why I'm so confident that the basic Autopilot codes are going to be replaced with this new code is because current builds of 11.3.1 on limited beta testers vehicles shows that the Navigate on Autopilot has been removed somewhat. They've overall revamped and updated the menus to remove references of Navigate on Autopilot. They've even removed the opt-in and opt-out buttons. So what's happening is if you have basic Autopilot right now and you subscribe or you purchased it outright for FSD, you're going to jump directly into FSD beta. Now what's interesting here is that because they're removing all references to Navigate on Autopilot, and because Navigate on Autopilot is based off of the same codes as Autopilot, it means that if Navigate on Autopilot gets updated, the base code for the basic Autopilot should be updated as well. Now the minimum expectation here is that the visualizations get updated, but it's more likely that the whole code base of basic Autopilot will be updated as well. This is not for the convenience feature of FSD, this is purely safety wise, and I think the new codes finally reached parity and even surpassed that of the safetiness of basic Autopilot. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the main reason why they didn't switch the base Autopilot codes over to the new FSD beta codes is because it never reached parity in terms of safetiness. FSD beta is still very wonky at times, even though you see all these videos online of it doing really perfect things. It is just overall not as stable as simply just activating basic Autopilot or Navigate on Autopilot and just smoothly going on the highway without having to worry about it doing something crazy. Now with millions of miles on FSD beta and the highway stack, it seems like we've gotten to that point where it got on parity with base Autopilot, and in some circumstances it even surpassed it because it has newer software being able to take advantage of some of the newer sensors, higher quality sensors, which has been updated periodically throughout the iterations of Teslas. You notice that the cameras have been amped up a little bit in terms of megapixel every single way. The sensors got changed, the angles got changed, a bunch of things got changed and the software finally kept up to it. It got to the point where the occupancy network and the neural net is so good, it's able to detect things on the road way before your eyes can even see it. There's a lot of things that the new FSD beta code can do better than the basic Autopilot codes. Even on the highway, you'll see that it's able to use the occupancy network to see road debris and avoid it. It will able to swerve away from trucks as it passed it. And this makes complete sense that 11.3.2 is going to be the wide release, and Tesla deems it as safe enough. They've also fixed up the recall that NHTSA has recently given out as a notice, and I think they're at that point where they see it that it's good enough to give out to 400,000 people running FSD. So of course this is going to be extremely exciting that it's been such a long time that we've seen any code updates for the basic autopilots. Hopefully we get to see new animations, all the cars and road debris and different sidelines all around us. At this point right now, I still don't think that $15,000 is worth the price for FSD, but if you guys had the chance to subscribe, I'd recommend you guys do so. But with this update coming up, you might not even have to do all that just to see the visualizations happening on your screen. It's just mind-blowingly good. If you had FSD and you compared it with base autopilot, it's just night and day in terms of what the cameras are able to see and display. Now, one thing you guys might be disappointed with is that I'm not entirely sure about the European and the Asian market. This is only for North America, and it seems like that's going to be the case. The highway stack and the single code base is developed mainly for Canada and the USA. So even outside of that, you're not going to see it work. Just take, for example, Mexico, which is a part of North America. Even then, Mexico isn't even a part of these compatible FSD beta builds. So until Mexico, which is part of North America, gets FSD beta and all these updates, I really doubt that Europe and other places around the world are gonna get it. Now, it's really unfortunate, but I guess you guys just have to accept it until Elon gives us a little bit more information. It's just because roads are a little bit too different in each country within Europe. The driving rules, infrastructure, and languages are completely different in each part of Europe. So this is something that FSD beta has to really build specific for. Although Elon did say that 90% of the codes for FSD beta is going to be compatible for outside of North America as well. Now, these are just my expectations of Tesla, and it would be extremely disappointing and such a bummer if they didn't give a basic autopilot a revamp that we were all expecting. Now, keep in mind that owners with base autopilot are not expecting features like lane changes and city driving to happen within this code base change. We're just expecting that the visualizations and the confidence level and the safetiness improves because the new codes are more updated. So we're not even essentially getting any new features out of this, so just don't confuse what this code base change is going to be like. The real big highlight here is the rest of North America who doesn't have the money for the FSD beta codes or doesn't want the FSD beta is able to see the exact same visualizations and have the same enhanced features for safetiness as those with the software. So yeah guys, those are my expectations for this weekend. I'm really excited. I'll give you guys an update as soon as I hear anything else or eventually see it. In the meantime, I will try my best to keep you guys as updated as possible, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. And before I end this video guys, like I said in the previous one, I do have a video that didn't get too much interactions and too much views, so please help me out with that. I will drop a link right up top there, I believe, and I'll definitely have it in the description below, so just click that for a minute and try to help a brother out here, get him at least to 1K view. That really helps out the channel. Anyways guys, this should be it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is John once again. Peace out.